So I'd like to start with what is the definition of obesity so that we all know exactly what we're talking about. And that definition has really shifted over time. At first, it was defined by a body mass index over 30. And that has to do with a calculation of one's height and weight. And looking at a population level, when body mass index goes above 30, there's some increased risk of health complications, and that's the theory behind using BMI. But really, BMI is useful on a population level, not so helpful on an individual level. So Obesity Canada, one of the leading organizations in Canada, has developed these wonderful guidelines, and they shifted the definition of obesity to something much more true and helpful. And I'll just read that here. So obesity is a chronic, complex disease in which abnormal or excess body fat impairs health, increases the risk of long-term medical complications, and reduces lifespan. So that's the definition of the chronic disease of obesity. And in that definition, there is no body mass index in there. And I'll explain why. Let's say an individual, somebody's living with a body mass index of 35, yet they have no signs or symptoms of any health concerns. They're walking great, breathing well, sleeping fine, enjoying life, high self-esteem, physically active, blood pressure is normal, no signs of diabetes or prediabetes or high blood pressure. Everything's looking wonderful. So that is not the disease of obesity. That is a person living in a larger body. And that's not a medical condition. So in that setting, you can see that people living in a larger body with a BMI over 30 do not necessarily have the disease of obesity. Another case is, I've seen this time and time again, a body mass index of 27, just above normal, or even 25, which would be considered normal, who has the disease of type 2 diabetes. So this is where it's not excess fat, but it's abnormal function of the fat that leads to the condition of type 2 diabetes. So even with a BMI less than 30, one could be living with the chronic disease of obesity. So obesity is two things, either symptoms related to the mechanical pressures of excess body weight or from abnormal function of those fat cells that lead to something called metabolic complications, which is really an impaired ability to store energy safely. And that's what leads to a number of chronic health conditions in our society, be it high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and other situations. So that's the definition of obesity, and we'll see you again soon.